Well, how's it going, everybody? A look out my condo window on this beautiful, what is it, Saturday afternoon. We also have a pretty nice pool down on the 6th floor. A little laundry room with dryers, which is kind of unusual, but I sometimes go fluff my shirts up. Thanks to all my friends that have brought me dryer sheets. I have a lifetime supply of them, but it's nice to take the t-shirts down to the dryer once in a while. And a small gym. I wish it's all trade-offs. I wish the condo had one of these super gyms, but it had so many other things going for it that I decided to move in. I might at some point go off to a gym in the neighborhood, but they're a little costly compared to that 10 or 15 bucks I paid in San Diego for years and years. It's closer to $50 here. I told Boone, check out all these supercars pulling into the hotel down below. It's the Four Wings Hotel. I always say the Four Queens. That's a casino in Vegas. But she goes, half those people probably rent the car in Thailand. They'll rent one of these supercars and say, look at me, I'll teach you how to make money in real estate or Bitcoin. So she's not buying it. Yeah, Boone's not impressed, but I am. Some good looking cars. I'm not sure they're rentals or not. There is some real money running around Bangkok. But I get what she's saying. Anybody can rent a car and take some Instagram photos. And it looks like this one may be a present. There's some kind of big party or wedding going on. The hotel's all decorated in flowers. It'll be a pretty nice present. And somebody just pulled up in the Bentley. Definitely some kind of party happening. But for me today, it's jumping on the back of a motorbike, and that's just fine. And I have a new neighbor. A pigeon has laid 2 or 3 eggs in a little nest right here in the flower box at the end of the hallway. It's open on the outside there, and I've been trying to make her life a little easier by putting some bread in there. And on the other side of the oh, there's a rare helicopter. You never hear those go by. On the other side of the planter box, I put a little plastic, well, kind of a big plastic dish of water, and it was all gone in a couple of 2-3 days. I see her and Papa Pigeon hanging out. Plus I had Boone write a little note in Thai. They hook up a hose and just blast these things with water now and again. So I put a little warning there. Hey, let's not mess with this one for a little bit until these little baby birds are out. Good to see. Did a couple of condo tour videos. I don't know how recently. This is just an example of my apartment. It's a 52 or 54 meter, I forget, 1 bedroom. It is a corner unit. I'm up on a higher floor, so sometimes that commands a little bit of a premium. But 35, even 31 square meter, oops, slammed the door there, my window's open, is more the norm. More along the lines of, we just walked in the front door where you see the couch off to the right. Normally there would be a little couch here, maybe the wall's a little bit wider, maybe where that door frame is. And there'll be another room back there with a sliding glass door, kind of like a patio type door in the US, and a bed will be behind that, and they'll call that a 1 bedroom. If there's no sliding door, it's a studio. Now, bathrooms and kitchens are going to be small, often, basic little toilet, but this does have, excuse me, a bathtub, which is unusual. I think this place was remodeled and they did some, it's not the highest of quality Pergo. I think they did it right before I moved in, and there was already a little chip. I need to sweep my floor here. I'm sorry. There's already a little chip there. I know I didn't do it. And little kitchen, they're just gonna have a little electric 2-burner thing, and I'm using that induction plate so I can, if I'm cooking up a hamburger or something, I don't like stinking up my room. I just put it out here on my massively oversized balcony, which the washing machine and air conditioner, there's 2 units, and they take up most of that space, but at least I can cook out on the washing machine and not smell up my little apartment. No dryer, you wash, you hang it up, put fabric softener, it's fine. And I just have this shelf over here with my different pots and pans and gear. I should probably clean that up a little more. And I do have a true 1-bedroom, so it separates off, and a king-size bed, which is unusual. I tell people, bring some nice sheets, at least 1 set. I would bring queen sheets. I'll say 90% of places are going to be a queen-size bed. I got this king. And I'll show you something. Boone is super easygoing, my girlfriend. She just kind of goes along with and doesn't make many complaints. But on a day like today, it's still kind of warm. I have all the windows open because there's a nice breeze. And then I just turn on some fans, no air conditioning. I really hate air conditioning. I mean, I have to deal with it here. But if you look out my condo window, not one place has the windows open, even on a relatively nice day. And when I ask Boone why, she says it's the pollution. That's why you still see folks walking around in masks, not so much because of the pandemic. Well, I'm not going to presume to know that, but more for pollution reasons. Even Boone will have a mask in her purse, and when she jumps on the back of a motorbike, she doesn't want those bus fumes, so she'll put on a mask. Probably not a bad idea. You look out this window, and this is a relatively nice looking day, but I can definitely, let me get out of the way of the window frame there. Off in the distance, I can see out on the horizon, a little further than that is Sukhumvit off to the left. And for some reason, the flight plan, it must have changed. The planes are coming right about here at, I don't know what they're at, 5,000 or 6,000 feet, making their approach into Sukhumvit, which I don't mind at all. I had a plane spotting channel back in the day. I might even tune in the radio and see if I can hear the plane and then identify it as it's going by. But what I was getting at, it's not uncommon to see, I won't say half of this view, but at least a fourth of the view will just disappear in the background on a really polluted day. Again, it's nice and windy today, so maybe that has something to do with blowing the pollution along. I know we're coming into the beginning months of the year, and we're going to have the sugarcane burning up in the north, and that is going to affect the weather down here. So again, if a person wants to wear a mask, I'm personally not going to, just because I hate those masks. But if somebody wants to, I don't have a problem with that at all. It's probably a smart idea when the weather's getting, not the weather, the air is getting pretty thick here in Thailand. As far as my little apartment, I paid 19,000 baht. This is my TV. Most apartments will come with a TV, the whatever it is, 55-inch in the living room. That is the owner's. The bed is the owner's, the mattress, the table. That chair is mine, the fans are mine. Plan on buying fans. Everything else, it's kind of usually semi-furnished. This is kind of nice. It has these big walk-ins, or whatever you want to call it, wardrobe. Now I do have air conditioning units that are older. I want to say this building was built in 2004, and I believe they're the originals. Yeah, I would guess 20 years, maybe 25 is the life expectancy on these things. They're going to clean them when you move in. You can probably have the owner clean them again halfway through the year. I just pay those small bills myself. I think it was 800 baht for the guys to come clean 2 units. Plus, one of my units was really rattling. It was, I actually took the cover off the things. I like to, not inside here, out on the balcony, I like to tinker, and I kind of miss my home projects, owning a home. So I took the cover off and I put a bunch of insulation, I guess. Well, whatever you call that stuff. And I didn't do the greatest job putting it around the door here, but my one neighbor said he did put this foam around the door and his power bill really went down. What I am finding is these things, as they're older, just run a lot less efficient, clean or not. I usually pay, one of those is purring, set kind of high at like 25C, pretty much the entire time I'm home, except at the beginning of the year here when it's pretty nice and cool. I don't know what it is outside at 4 p.m. I would guess it's 80 degrees, maybe 82, but 82 feels like 60 degrees when it's normally 110. I'll pay 3,000 baht or close to it to have that privilege of one AC running. Call it 60% of the time. I have other buddies who pay closer to 1,000 baht, and I did that exact same thing with less than 5-year-old ACs up in en route. So if you are up in the air over, say, 3 different condos and one of them has brand new air conditioning units, that might cut back on your power bill. With that being said, even at 3,000 baht, not even $100 or a little over. I don't know what the exchange rate is today. I'm sure there are many people that live in different parts of the world that wish their power bill was less than $100, so I'm not really complaining. But $40 is better. Now, as far as the little kitchen, you're only going to get into higher end places. I was talking to a guy, he came out to my meetup over at Stella's Bar, really nice guy, and he was the representative for a very high-end stove and freezer company, top of the line home gear, which is restaurant quality. You're not even going to find a stove oven combination until you get into pretty high-end apartments. Let's call it 80 meter and fancy buildings with 80,000 baht and 150,000 baht price tags. Then it might be a little more westernized, but I would love to have an oven. My compromise is this little $50 double-sized toaster oven, and I do all kinds of things in there. I cook pizza, and I cooked a little small prime rib roast, and you'll just have to adjust. If you want to move over to anywhere in Southeast Asia and try to find a comparable apartment to the West, just pull out that pocketbook. For the most cases, they're going to be smaller. There are one-offs. This is a pretty good size apartment. I don't know what it is in square feet. You might say, no, I need something twice as large. Well, okay, expect to pay 50,000 baht and up. I got a heck of a deal on this place at 19,000 baht. I see other comparable units. Maybe they're not a corner unit on a higher floor, which is a little bit more preferable. I don't really care now that I'm here. I don't have a real need to always be in the 20s up towards the top of the building. If there's a good deal down on the 9th floor, I'll probably take it. Or as I look across, I've said this many times, there are some beautiful, larger, older apartments in these 6-story buildings. I would probably just personally stay away from a first floor unit, just on the odd chance you're going to be close to the garbage cans. There's all kinds of critters running around. We've all walked around the streets of Bangkok, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Plus bugs. Up here, I can't remember, and somebody asked me, but I can't remember the last time. There we go. There goes an AirAsia. Looks like an A320. Setting up for, I'm assuming, on the downwind for a runway at Suvarnabhumi. Somebody asked me about mosquitoes. No, mosquitoes, flies. Again, I'm up here in the 20s. I've never had a problem with that. So maybe that's going to be a little bit more of an issue if you're down on the 1st or 2nd floor and there's a klong nearby. Sure, you're going to have mosquitoes. But keep all those things in mind. I think I mentioned I paid 19,000 baht. Not newer, but recent listings are going for 25, 26, 28. Everything's a little bit negotiable. If a person wants 25,000, I would certainly sign or offer to sign a 1-year lease and offer 23,000. That's not unusual. The other thing is when you find an apartment, you don't immediately have to move in. It's first, last, and security deposit, or however you want to look at it. You pay 3 months rent. What you do need to do is when you find the place, you need to lock it down, and they'll usually hold it for up to 30 days. So let's say you're in an Airbnb for 3 more weeks. You can arrange to pay that first month. It's your apartment now, and then 3 weeks later, say, when you move in, you then pay 2 more months rent, and you get the keys and sign the lease. I know some people say I will not pay anybody a dime without signing a lease, but I think you're going to be hard-pressed to get that lease until you pay the 3 months rent. So if you need that flexibility of the land person holding the place for, let's say, up to 30 days, that's reasonable. You're going to have to be somewhat flexible on however you do it. I probably wouldn't pay cash. I would transfer it with a Thai bank account with a footnote that this is a deposit to XYZ apartment. Again, I'm coming from the U.S. where I'm always on guard that somebody's ripping me off. It's a little bit not that way here in Thailand. I mean, if you made a big fuss over, say, I'm not going to give you any money until I sign a lease, they'll probably just kind of walk away from the deal. Like, what's this guy's problem? Again, I know that's not traditional U.S. and many other countries' way of thinking, but you're not in the U.S. when you're renting an apartment in Thailand. My girlfriend Boone did get her realtor license. Here comes another, I think that's an A320. Yeah, my eyesight's not so good. I think that's a Chinese airline. People have asked me about realtors and areas of town to live and all those kinds of things. So she works a corporate gig and has always thought about doing real estate on the side. She's going to do just that, and maybe we'll put out some videos with her showing some different listings around town. Price-wise, you get a feel for, I'll tell you right now, this area I'm standing in, Phrom Phong, it's one of the more expensive areas. I just told you I pay 19,000 baht, and you can get a place in this 2004 building for under 30,000 baht. But looking across the way, we're getting into Thong La, and that black building, I forget if, I'm trying to see, it says it's a Q, so maybe it's an IDEO Q, but it's a brand new one in Thong La. I wouldn't doubt if a 28-meter studio in there is 55,000 baht, just because it's the Thong La zip code, which is one of the higher in town. I may be way off guard, but then when you get over here towards Rama 4, it gets super affordable again because you are a 15-minute walk to the BTS Phrom Phong, which is off to the left. And if you look straight ahead, let me zoom in here, where you see that gold on top of the building, that is the bowling alley at Ekamai, right across the street from the Ekamai bus station. And then the Thong La is over here, and I'm in Phrom Phong. So yeah, we'll go over all those things when she gets up and going and she's interviewing with different realtor companies, taking her time, get the right fit, and then perhaps she'll get some good listings, and we'll be able to give folks an idea of different places around town. Maybe I'll even get her started on her own channel. We'll see. People need a place, and she would be a good, super trustworthy realtor. Now, there are some more expensive units even in my building. These two, I think there's two on the other side with balconies, although I've never seen a person on either of these balconies. Those are probably 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or maid's quarter, or on and on. I mean, even this older building, you walk through the parking lot, it's one BMW after another, Mercedes. There's even a Bentley in this building. I think there's some kind of supercar. I don't know if it's a Maserati or Ferrari somebody owns. I don't hear it coming and going very often, but if you own a Maserati, maybe that's not your daily driver. There's also empty units. Let me show you this one right here. I have been here over 2 years now, 2.5 years. I lived here for a year. I really like it, so I signed another 2-year lease, and this place has been empty the entire time. It's not unusual for different investors. A lot of Chinese investors will come into a brand new building and buy 20 units or even 5 and not want to deal with tenants and the problems that come along with being a landlord. They're just doing it as an investment. I don't know the reasons, getting money out of China and invested in other countries for whatever reasons. And yeah, it's not unusual to have a bunch of units just sit empty, and that's great. I don't think there are too many people living down my hallway. There's, I don't know, 5 doors, and I think there's 2 of us. I just met my neighbors across the way. A really nice couple from Spain. He told me he's owned the unit, I think he said 10 years, so quite a while, but they still live. It wasn't Barcelona, I forget, someplace in Spain, and they come back and forth. So that's great. I mean, we don't hear a peep out of each other. These older places are just built nice and solid. So this is the Condo 1X or Condo X, I'm not sure. Condo 1X, kind of 8 minutes down Sukhumvit Soi 26 from the Prompong BTS. I do have a little bit of a walk, and just down below where you see the traffic, that is Soi 26. It does flood right there. So we'll get 6 inches of water when it's raining for 3 hours straight and dumps a couple of inches of rain. We're going to get a little flooding back here. I've mentioned it in other videos. People will leave different comments and things on Reddit and YouTube, Facebook. You want to try to find a dry condo and all these kinds of things. That's fine. Ideally, it'd be better if it did not flood down there. But the thing is, are you ever going to leave your condo? And there is no place in Bangkok that is going to be completely dry. It's just impossible. I used to live up in On Nut. My condo was dry as a bone. My walk to the BTS, I had to go through 3 different, call them low spots, floody spots, whatever you'd like, just to get to the train. And then, oh, by the way, when I got to the On Nut BTS, I oftentimes had to go through 6 inches of water just to get into the train. So don't lose too much sleep over finding the ultimate dry condo unless you plan to just stay home for the entire rainy season, because you're going to get wet. And looking off to the right, off to the left would be Sukhumvit and the BTS, but off in this direction, you can catch a little glimpse of the Chao Phraya River, and I see, I'll call it, I was going to call it a tanker, but whatever it is, with the shipping containers, I see it tied up there. That is kind of the edge of the port of Bangkok, and then it goes off in this direction towards On Nut, but I see them coming down this far away, actually in between that building, which is, I think, Channel 3. Yes, I see it. Channel 3 TV. Way off in the distance, you can see one of those big yellow cranes that takes the containers off the ship. If my buddy Andy is listening out there, he works in the ports in California. Be plenty more videos. Take it easy. Have a good afternoon.